Hi, everybody. It's Brandon.
And Josh.
And before we start today's episode, we just want to give a little plug. Give us a like
Or subscribe to this channel.
and follow us on Instagram for all of your daily drama and art needs.
Woohoo! Check back every week for more content from yours truly.
And hope you enjoy the episode.
Ciao.
Until we get another theme song, this'll have to do. These are your blues reviews.
I am Placido Domingo, and I want to remind you that we are presenting a very exciting Spanish opera, El Gato Montés.
Hi, everybody. It's your boys, Brandon.
And Josh. Ole!
Ah!
Welcome back.
Hey, I actually got a note out of this.
Give us a little.
Look,
Oh, too much.
that note was good enough. Y'all saw that I played it. Okay, so we just gonna set it down.
There we
here.
go. Welcome to our review of Los Angeles Opera's production of El Gato Montés.
The Wildcat. Yeah, so this is our first opera review, and when we conceived this channel and this series, we envisioned that we would do a lot of opera, because that's your field, that's your specialty. Let's highlight you.
Cheers.
Oh, well, cheers to that.
Yes.
And,
Who says opera's dying? Everybody.
well, maybe this is gonna bring, this drink, this mango margarita for this. Girl, I'm ready. Let's get it to it.
Turn in.
Okay, tell us.
Yes, so we have a lovely production of a unknown Spanish opera, Zarzuela. It's really an opera, it's not a Zarzuela, but it is in the Zarzuela tradition.
Okay.
Featuring everybody's favorite Placido Domingo as the title character.
This opera for me is very much in my heart because my parents, they were singers also, and El Gato Montés is one of the operas that they used to represent in their company.
Opera icon.
Yeah, probably the most famous opera singer in the world right now. Pavarotti's dead. Yeah, I think it was a great show because anytime Placido's singing in it, of course, they're going to plaster his face all over LA.
Everywhere. Well, I mean, he could be singing bartender number 3 in the back,
Right.
and he's still gonna get the cover shot.
Yeah, he did Rodrigo and Don Carlo last fall, and it's sort of a secondary character. But at least this one, there's the 3 main characters. There is Rafael, the bullfighter, and there is Placido playing the Wildcat himself. His name is Juanillo, and
Yes.
they are both in love with a woman.
Why is it in opera it's always a woman? Can we get a gay character in opera? Come on.
I would love to hear the equivalent of Ana Maria Martinez as a countertenor. Or
A little drag role?
a little drag roll.
Why not? Drag
be
queens that do sing classical, that do opera, get out there. I know you're there.
All right.
Take on some of these roles. Let's do a production.
As long as we don't ask Valentina to come and try to do it, we'll be all right.
she is.
So the show is, first of all, let's talk about the production quality.
Okay.
You walk in, anytime you go to see LA Opera, it's one of the best in the United States.
Spectacle.
It has one of the biggest budgets in the United States.
It's got the studio. It's got Hollywood right behind it. They know who to call. They know how to get sets. They know how to do all that stuff.
Well, you've got all these huge business people and philanthropers that just throw money at it. The board of directors.
Philanthropers?
Is that a word? Philanderers?
Oh, I know that word. I know that one. But some of them might.
So what do you call a person that's into philanthropy?
A philanthropist.
Oh, how about that? You like something?
Okay, the philanderers are doing
The
it.
Flanders are giving money, and you know it's kind of sad in LA that there is LA Opera and it has tons and tons and tons of money, and they're always bitching and whining and crying that they need more.
Yeah.
And then you have like 20 little opera companies that are trying to keep their head afloat and produce opera and give people chances to sing.
And let's stop right now and say, congratulations to you. We have Mission Opera, a new opera company started by yours truly that is opening. Tell us about their debut show. Let's take it,
coming.
plug it, baby. Plug
Check
it.
it out, missionopera.com. We're opening show, or inaugural show. Boy, I've been having too much Baileys this morning. It is called Così fan tutte, if you've never heard of it.
For the lovers.
Look it up. Hashtag let the love games begin.
Ooh.
Check it out. Coming to a valley near you on May 26th, May 31st, June 1st, and June 2nd, 2019.
Get it. Okay, so LA Opera is the big guy in town. You guys here at Mission Opera, we're trying to bring it back.
Yes.
And so
So what were the production elements that stood out to you as someone that just, as an audience member who gets to go and sit and then watch and see like what kind of tricks they pull out of their sleeve.
You mean on this one specifically, or LA Opera in general?
This one.
This one, okay, so here was my first thought. So we open the opera and we see an older woman and a younger woman doing like chores, doing housework, and the stage was very bare. It just looked like gravelly wasteland and some village rural type things and some laundry lines going up, and I immediately thought, oh, they're squeezing this in because they've got Traviata coming up, and that's going to be a spectacle.
Yes.
And so I felt like this production had to be scaled back because we're going to do a major show like next month.
Yeah. Possibly. Yeah, and some of these things you have to think about, like Spanish opera, Zarzuela. By the way, do you know the difference between opera and Zarzuela?
Sometimes, I mean, I barely know the difference between opera and musical theater sometimes, so.
Well, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I mean, it is sort of a musical theater-esque style. It captures Spanish sound, Spanish music, but it's sort of like the English version of operetta, the French version of opera comique, and the Spaniards had Zarzuela, which were usually pared down because they had these little houses where they would play Zarzuela. So this one, even though it's like Zarzuela style and it's Spanish sounding, I guess technically it would be considered an opera. It's in 3 acts, it's sung throughout.
Yeah.
A lot of the old composers would go back and make recit that was like accompanied so that they could sing it, and then it sounded more operatic. We gotta be an opera if we're gonna be an opera, right?
That's what I always
Now they're like, screw it, we don't want to be an opera, we want to call it like Zarzuela, and it markets better because people don't like opera, but they're like, ooh, Zarzuela sounds fancy.
I don't know if that's the case. I think it was more of, ooh, we're celebrating Spanish and Latin culture in a time in America where we're trying to make Mexico pay for a wall. So, we're celebrating our Latin roots.
Right.
So why not?
That's right. Viva Mariachi. They always have some kind of. So anyway, so that's like he said, the production value wasn't as high. Didn't have as many gimmicks and tricks as other shows. They didn't have huge creatures coming out like on stage, puppet masters, whatever.
No naked countertenors this time.
There you go. They did have a really cool bullfighting scene, and they had like a lot of dancers. Which was really cool.
That was prominently featured. There was a lot of traditional Spanish dance featured, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you call that dance? Salsa? No.
I don't know. I'm just going to use whatever sounding name.
I think you got a tarantella on your head today.
Oh, okay. Tarantella. Yeah.
So here's what happens. You have, obviously, the love triangle of the tenor and the baritone in love with Ana Maria Martinez, who is a fabulous Latina opera singer, one of the best in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Although her Carmen was pretty awful last year. Speaking of Carmen, I keep getting Carmen vibes from this thing. I keep wanting to start singing.
So overall, the whole entire show, plot-wise, was just a weird mixture of Il Trovatore and Carmen.
Yes.
I was watching. It was like somebody got sued for copyright.
They didn't have copyright back then. They were all sharing the same ideas.
So yeah, let's kind of walk through it a little bit for our audience. So like I said, we open that first scene and we find out this woman, Ana Maria. I don't remember her character. Solea, yes, Miss Solea.
Solea, as it may be.
Thank you for that diction lesson. Miss Solea is telling this woman, I don't have anyone in this world. Thank you for taking me in. Your son, so this is like her mother-in-law, we would say, for taking me in. I'm so grateful. And the mother-in-law's like, yeah, okay, cool, yeah, we're happy to have you. And then this little heifer, when the mother-in-law's gone, she basically says, I'm just staying with him just cause I don't know if my heart's really in all this. And I was like, ooh, bitch. Girl, this is already messy.
Right, and then returns the bullfighter Rodrigo, who is, or Rafael rather, I think.
Rafael.
He was away in Madrid, and he is coming back as a hero, and everybody's excited, and Solea, his girlfriend, and his mother is very proud, and of course, the padre himself.
Oh yeah, I loved him.
The priest was hysterical. He had this sort of like basso
Basso
buffo
buffo, yeah.
role that was actually really funny because he's so proud that he baptized this famous bullfighter.
Yeah.
He's so proud, in fact, that he's gonna break the cloak, he thinks, and go to Madrid himself and dress in what do you call it? Layman clothes. Get outside of the cloak and the collar, and it's because obviously a priest wasn't allowed to go to things like that and be looked bad upon.
No.
So and he was a hysterical character, wasn't he?
He was really, and the singer was really good too. So shout out to him.
Yeah.
I don't remember his name, but we'll flash it here. Shout out to you. Yeah, and so like he comes back and like and Raphael's like, oh, he's madly in love with Soleil. He's like head over. He would do anything for her. He's doing all this glory, but he still says, you know, at the end of the day, I want to come back and be you're the woman for me. And so that's a sense of dramatic irony for us as the audience. We know she's not really that into it, but he doesn't.
She's not into him. Does she love the bad boy?
Well,
Or does she love nobody?
we'll see. We'll see as the show goes on. And so out of nowhere, we get this weird thing where a gypsy tribe shows up.
Yeah, the
For some
gypsy
reason.
tribe comes, the fortune teller comes and wants to read the bullfighter's fortune.
Yeah, read his palm.
Right?
Yeah.
Already, you know, you're in the most risky job in the world. Oh, let me see. I see good sex. I see short life of good sex. Yeah.
Why not? I'll take it. If you're gonna have a short life, might as well have some good sex.
No, I didn't say it was a short life. I just said the sex life was short-lived.
Oh. Well, for him it was. But we get- so yeah, the fortune teller basically says he's gonna have all this wonderful things, and he tells her, or she tells him, that there's gonna come a challenge to your love. There's gonna be someone that tries to steal your woman away.
Yes.
If you ignore him, she will remain with you. But if you don't ignore him, you will perish.
And cue Placido! Here he comes!
Maestro himself.
After that fortune reading, here comes the antagonist.
It was almost like Placido was like, oh shit, that's my cue, let's go. He pops up in there, yeah.
Pops down, he's climbing down the hill because he is in exile because he's already killed a man for this heifer. And so he has been chased out of town and he's living up in the mountain. Hence the name, the Mountain Cat.
Yeah. And yeah, so he comes back and he's like, no, that woman was mine before you. She will always be mine. I'm on the run because of this hoe. So
And at some
what's she
point-
got to do about it, player?
Doesn't he say that Raphael's got to lose the bullfight, or if he wins it and he kills the bull, then they're going to come and kill him?
This was, okay, so this was ridiculous. But this is what I love about opera. It's so absurd, but you get lost in it. He says to him, so Soleil's like, please don't kill him. I'm with him. Just go back into the mountains. And he says, all right, I'll leave him alone. But here's the deal. Either you let the bull gore you, and if you survive, you can have her. But most chances, if a bull gores a man full force, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Or if you don't let the bull, if you win the fight naturally, I'm coming to kill you afterwards. So take your pick. So he's in a lose-lose situation already.
Hell no. Who in their right mind would be like, okay, I'm going to give the chance to the bull? I'd be like, hell no. I'm going to kill the bull and then you'll ask.
I mean, maybe that was his plan. We don't. Unfortunately, we'll never know.
Unfortunately, we didn't get there because Q Act 2, after intermission, we come back a little drunker and a little more vivacious.
Yeah, and he's there over in Madrid. They're getting ready for the fight. He's getting
Actually,
all suited up.
it starts in his home. Remember that big, beautiful mirror?
Oh, yeah, when he's getting
with
ready.
the bull head and the man that's almost been gored. It looks like there's a little like character on the golden mirror. It's this huge, huge thing. Maybe we can find a picture of it. And he's getting ready for it, and his friend comes.
Was that the friend in those purple, green, and blue mariachi suits?
Oh no, that was the three like sub characters.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Huey, Dewey, and Louie were there.
Or Jose, Louis, and what would you call Dewey?
I don't know. Dewey? DUI?
Okay.
Don't be fucking with Dewey.
Mucho cerveza.
If you mess with Dewey, you'll get your license taken away. Alright, so, no, this guy, his name is the Giant Ant. Hormigón.
Okay.
Is that what that means? I think that's what that means anyway. So, he comes in and he's his friend. Toot out to our friend Scott Levin, who got to step in last minute and do one performance of Hormigón. This is LA Opera debut.
LA.
Wasn't the one we watched, but congrats nonetheless. And so what happens is they're talking about the whole thing, and they're all very worried. And of course, the mama and Solea wants to go and watch.
Yes.
And as they go into the Coliseum, the friend locks them away in the chapel because he's like, "We don't need you distracting him. He's already got this bad fortune on his side." And then we have this really kind of cool scene with multimedia and the bullfighters poking their heads out, the dancers doing the stuff. I like that. It had nothing to do with it's that moment in an opera where like the plot comes to a crushing halt, and we just have some, we just have dancers and music, and and I think it's that famous piece of music that the composer wrote. What's it called? The Paso something, the Paso Doble maybe. It's the only piece of music that is sort of known from that. And they always play it in like TV commercials and movies whenever they're showing a bullfight.
Okay.
If they can't get Carmen, they play
This is the next best thing.
So, and then after that big spectacle, the plot moves on, and we have the bullfight itself.
Yeah.
And what happens?
He takes his chances with the bull, and he does allow the bull to gore him. And come on now, it's a 2-ton bull.
Ole.
Right? And you can ole all you want to, but if you don't move out the way, your ole ass is going straight into the ground, and he's gone. We lost him. We lost Raphael, and
Is that why they say arriba, abajo? Because the bull comes running at them, and then they get the horn up, and the boy goes arriba, and he flies up into the air. And
look, I don't know. At this point, I was hot, fanning myself fiercely, and drunk.
guess
so-
what? His ass is dead. Dead as a doornail. See you later, sucker. Bye.
Let's take a moment. Let's pause here and let's talk a little bit about the singing. Since it is an opera, so we should.
Oh, I thought we were gonna have a moment for the dead bullfighter. Okay.
No, whatever. So since he's gone, let's talk about his voice. How did we think it was his? The singer.
Yeah.
I'll put his name here. It was his LA Opera debut as well in this role. Not that.
Was it?
Yes, it was. He said it was his role debut. He has sung this role
Yeah.
and other things in concert versions, but he had never actually fully performed it on stage until now.
Well, I mean, who has this opera? So like.
No, not this opera, just any role.
I don't think so.
It says it in the program.
I thought him and Ana Maria and Placido were like old friends and have sung a bunch of roles in the LA Opera together.
Mm-mm.
Well, and nonetheless, I thought he was pretty awful. He's got glorious high notes,
Okay.
which is nice, but all his low notes and his diction was horrible. I was sitting beside these women that we were speaking Spanish. I don't know if they spoke
they were
much
so
English.
cute. They were
and
cute.
And after Act 1, they leaned over to me and said, "Oh, you can understand every word Placido says, but I don't understand any of the other." In Spanish, by the way, in a Spanish sung opera.
I'm gonna be honest. It took me a while to realize they were singing in Spanish. I mean, most operas are in Italian, so I knew that this was a Spanish night, and so I was expecting to hear Spanish words that I knew and
Well, it's sort
understood,
of like
but I never could tell.
Andalusiano dialect, which is sort of
dialect.
Italian-esque in nature.
Okay.
There were a couple words like they were saying "moya" instead of "morir," to die.
Oh, okay.
And so it's very Italian. There were 2 or 3 others that I noted that I can't remember now because it's been a week since we've seen it. But I was thinking, oh wow, that's such an Italian type word. But then again, it's the Italian opera tradition, so there are borrowed words here and there.
We are moving closer to the Italian style.
Yeah.
What about Anna Maria? What do we think of her voice?
She's always great. I wasn't a fan of her Carmen before.
Okay.
Last time I saw her, but I really like. She always brings some kind of life to the stage, and she's
She was a very
engaging.
wonderful actress.
Yeah, and I mean she's got a glorious instrument too. So she was a big double thumbs up.
Heel,
Heel.
Anna Maria. Check out our drag race.
Give her a
movies.
high heel.
And then of course Placido.
Placido, this was a great role for him. I'm a little bitter that he is now stealing all the baritone roles too.
When I was a little boy, I used to sing with my sister on the stage. Later on in my career, doing the torero, the toreador, and now I sing the bandit. I sing the outlaw man.
Yeah, can we talk about this Placido, famous tenor for many, many years, got up there in years and is like, I can't hit them high notes like I used to, but I still want to keep singing and getting this coin. I'm just gonna move down to baritone and snatch all y'all roles.
Which is kind of interesting because he's a powerhouse. He
still
delivers.
sounds so good.
And actually that was really smart of him to not try to continue because you can really destroy and damage the voice trying to sing really high notes.
Trying to push through.
You know, as you age and the larynx isn't as malleable anymore, that cartilage starts to calcify and gets really hard, and it's like you can really pull and rupture muscles in there if you're so he knows all that. He's safe.
I'm just worried at 90 he's gonna be coming for my bass roles. And then we gonna have a problem, Placido.
That would be very cool. I would love to see that.
No, stay over there. Baritone is far enough. Don't come for the basses. We don't get that much as it is. So stay over there.
I love seeing him as the villain. Seeing all those roles when he's sung as the tenor. The tenor's rarely the villain. It's always the lover, and so it's nice to see him bring something else to the stage. And then at the end of the opera, I guess after the death of,
Well, we still have a whole nother act.
we had Act 3, and pretty much Act 3, all that happens is Placido tries to get Solea, and they go up to the mountain. She goes up with him, and she's like, well, I guess my decision's made for me. And the townspeople come looking for him or whatever, and he's like, somehow he ends up telling his friend, just shoot me. And then she loves him, so she jumps in front of the bullet. The bullet kills both of them, and it's a nice tragedy, tied up in a neat little bow with 3 deaths.
That's opera for you. The Soprano's gotta die at some point, and it's gotta be in some overly convoluted way.
At least Oaz didn't lay there and sing for 20 minutes while she was dying.
Can we talk about that? Maybe that's why operas die. Because no one wants to watch 30 minutes of some effa dying from singing.
Touche.
But overall, I thought I really enjoyed this. We've seen, like I said, this is kind of a mixture of 2 different other operas, but I think it takes the best parts of those operas.
Yeah.
And kind of puts them together. Carmen is all about that jealousy and that rage and the what he goes through after she rejects him and getting revenge. And then Trovatore is about a love triangle.
Yes, complete with the gypsy and the whole 9 yards.
Yeah. Oh, and shout out to the gypsy woman. Honestly, it wasn't much of a part. I wouldn't write home about it, but I felt she did her thing, so why not give her a little shout right here?
I know she got one of the last curtain calls, and you're like, why is she last? She wasn't last, but she was up there.
It wasn't it wasn't roll, honey.
That's alright. The Princess Torrendo sings for like 7 minutes or something. The whole opera is named after her. So she gets the final credit.
And that's how you work it when you the princess.
That's right. So overall, great show. There's one more show. By the time this comes out, it may be long gone, but we'll see.
No, it'll be gone. I'm not even gonna lie. I love you guys so much. I love my audience. It's not coming out before the show ends, but
if you're in LA, go to LA Opera, see some of the shows. They do great work. It's really inspiring. I'm always leave inspired. And please support regional theater, local opera where you can, because it's only a dying art form if we let it die.
Yes.
Till the next time, cheers.
How do you say cheers in Spanish?
Salud.
Salud.
There is a beautiful, beautiful story, very dramatic, very romantic. It's going to be a beautiful, beautiful production, so we wait for you.